Good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your lunch, and we're not going to fall asleep in the presentation, I can promise you that. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to explain briefly what the awards categories are. Three categories of appreciation. We have, first of all, the Innovative ETD Award. The Innovative ETD Award recognizes student efforts to transform the genre of the print dissertation through the use of innovative software to create cutting-edge ETDs. The use of renderings, photos, video, and other multimedia objects that are included in the electronic document were considered as a part of the innovation of the work. The award includes a $500 cash prize and up to $500 in travel scholarship to attend the annual ETD Symposium. The next category is Innovative Learning through ETD's Award. The Innovative Learning through ETD's Award recognizes a graduate whose professional life has been enhanced by the ETD process. Again, the award includes a $500 cash prize and up to $500 in travel scholarship to attend the annual symposium. And we have the ETD Leadership Award. The ETD Leadership Award recognizes members of the university community whose leadership and vision has helped to raise awareness and benefits of ETDs and whose efforts have improved graduate education through the use of ETDs. The award is honorary. And we have a forthcoming new category under leadership, the NDLTD Emerging Leadership Award. And as we develop this program, we'll tell you more about that through our listserv and through the website and so forth. So we're really looking forward to continuing to push the envelope with awards and recognize people who have worked diligently to make ETDs possible. So for more information, the nomination process is fairly easy. It's usually a one-page cover letter of nomination and contact information, and maybe some reference letters from faculty and so forth who have worked with the student or with the leader, if it be the case. The 2012 call for nominations will come out sometime in January 2012. So please help us spread the word, and you can find more information online at the NDLTD website under Events and Awards. So, the exciting part, and the winners are, okay, so for the Innovative ETD Award category, we'll acknowledge Tomislav Dimov, who received his doctorate in musical arts at West Virginia University in 2010. In his doctoral research project, Short Historical Overview and Comparison of the Pitch, Width, and Speed Rates of the Vibrato used in sonatas and partitas for solo violin by Johann Sebastian Bach is found in the recordings of famous violinists of the 20th century and 21st centuries. Tomislav Dimov provides a very novel and innovative approach to musical performance studies. His research explores pitch width and speed rates of the vibrato violin solos by contemporary performers, utilizing tables and graphics for comparison, sorted by the year of recording, and followed by a discussion of the results. Access to sound files and samples are available through a virtual CD linked to the document via the internet. Tomislav's doctoral research project includes a PDF with music score interlinked to MP3 audio files, so the end user may simultaneously hear the audio result of the music score they are viewing on the page. This provides an interactive approach to the listener, which allows for enhanced visualization of the music score by making it come to life as it was intended to be heard. Very few examples of this interactive approach exist in the field of music. Thus, Tomislav's path-breaking approach serves as an excellent model of enhanced learning experience through the multimedia integration into the research document. So we have a surprise for you. Actually, we have Tomislav here live, who's going to come and accept his give his acknowledgments. So Tomislav, without further ado, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, distinguished professors, doctors, and officers, members of the NDLTD Board, it is my great honor to receive this award. It is a recognition of the results of many years of work, summarizing in what I envisioned in this project, which would not have been accomplished if not for the support and guidance of my mentors from the West Virginia University in Morgantown, USA. and the help and assistance of my friends and colleagues. I would like to use this opportunity to recognize at least some of them for the inspiration and meticulous leadership through highest professional academic standards. Among others, I'm expressing my deepest gratitude to Dr. Michaela Matier, Dr. David Teddy, Dr. Russell Dean, Dr. Mitchell Arnold, Professor William Skidmore, Dr. Chris Wilkinson, Ms. Elizabeth Royale, Dr. Mary Ferrer, Dr. Andrew Cohen, Professor Cynthia Anderson, Dr. Kate Jackson, Mr. John Hagen, Mr. Roman Olenik, Mr. Jack Simon Jotak, my parents, my late father, Hristo Dimov, my mother, Katica Dimova, and my daughter, Katerina Dimov. The humanity always had issues with the ways of how to preserve the quality information for the future generations. It was the year of 640 AD. The flames were destroying the rest of what was left of the once great library of Alexandria. The founder of the city of Alexandria was someone I admire for his vision of a world without boundaries, that sublimated in founding an institution that would encompass the world knowledge and all of its wisdom in one easy, accessible place. Safekeeping of the knowledge on the internet, and in particular in the network digital library of theses and dissertations, is materialization of the same idea in its best possible technological and accessible form. That is the answer to the discussion opened by Thomas Mann in his article, The Importance of Books, Free Access and Libraries as Places, and the Dangerous Inadequacy of the Information Science Paradigm, published in the Journal of Academic Librarianship on June of 2001, volume 27, number 4, pages 268, 281. You see, this is the extended hand of being very precise about quoting the source, in which he is speaking about how inappropriate and how inaccessible the digital format is. The technological advances in the digital field are just debunking this myth. To be a little poetic, please, my apologies, I'm an artist, I can't help it. The speck of energy that destroyed the Library of Alexandria is now in charge of keeping it safe and accessible. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present some initiatives for this distinguished community. First one of them is a message that I'm looking for a publisher of the results of my open access work, and I would kindly appreciate any assistance in that matter. Further, during the preparation of my doctoral thesis, I experienced great difficulties by using different types of available software, which proved to be media unfriendly. Thus, I implemented only a fraction of media content applications I envisioned initially. So I had to use rather passive forms of presentation. Nobody else than NDLTD and ProQuest together can establish academic and technological standards that should be adopted by companies producing such software. By including this software in some of the ProQuest services, would make it available to the students in the same way, like, for instance, RefWorks webpage, which would be an integrated service that would respond to the NDLTD's highest standards of preservation and accessibility of academic research, that extensively uses media content, providing excellence and securing a brand name in intellectual property protection against intended and involuntary plagiarism. I can see NDLTD family that keeps growing, and as a result of its maturity should offer a roadmap of friendly rules how to become a member of it, so new, inexperienced followers can easily get on board. We know it is exclusive right of every academic instance to choose the system they use in creating their ETD repositories, as there is a big variety of systems, software, and languages in use creating repositories worldwide. And that would be the case as I would expect it to be when we create one in the Pelita Harapan University in Jakarta, Indonesia, the part of the world where I am working. I would expect that NDLTD would need to find ways and standards for direct communication between these repositories and to be able to translate the content between them. In the long run, I strongly believe NDLTD will help us to better understand each other throughout the world. Speaking of universal language, let me present you with a sample. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you with the Saraband from the Partita No. 2 by Johann Sebastian Bach.
And I would like to, I'm very honored to present to you, the camera here, the award certificate for the Innovative ETD, which is, this certificate is awarded to Tomislav Dima from West Virginia University. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Stuck.
Joshua.
I can't see down here. That's why I'm like freaking out.
Joshua.
I think there's a little latch. But there's no podium. Okay, then I was just going to continue with this talk. But thank you so much. Okay. So the next Innovative ETD Award winner is Martha C. Giraldo. She received a PhD in plant pathology, at Kansas State University in 2010. So in her doctoral dissertation in planted characterization of the magna port, or I'd say, and I'm slaughtering the Latin here, biotrophy-associated secreted BAS proteins and key secretion components, Martha Giraldo examined the disease known as a blast, which can affect crops such as wheat, rye, barley, pearl, millet, and even turf grasses. Its greatest impact, however, is on the rice, where it is estimated that each year blast destroys enough rice to feed more than 60 million people. Rice blast is caused by a fungus that Magna Porta Orce. Martha's research is clearly one that has global impact on agriculture and hunger. So Martha has sent a video because she was not able to attend, and I'll let her explain in her words the impact and the techniques of her multimedia dissertation.
My name is Marta Cecilia Giraldo Zapata. I'm from Kansas State University. I'm one of the recipients of the 2011 Innovative ETD Award from the Network Digital Library of Theses and Dissertations. My thesis in planta characterization of Magna Porta Orce, biotrophy-associated secreted BAS proteins and key secretion components, is part of a big initiative that we are trying to stop one of the biotic causes of the yield losses worldwide. So these pathogens make the way to control and manipulate the plants to avoid their recognition. So we are trying to understand the fungus, how they attack and how they manipulate the plant to be able to find a way to stop them. So this innovative tool allowed me to show and demonstrate a protocol that we routinely use in our lab, even though that protocol was published in 1949 in Japanese. It's difficult to follow and explain by writing and figures. So I thought, show a video, demonstrate how we do the protocol in vivo, and make it more easy to other people in other part of the world and in other language to follow the protocol and see how we do and how we make the leaf sheets and how we set the cells so they can reproduce it and validate our data. This also allowed me to share the magic of the cell biology in action, letting others see videos of how the blast fungus infects the rice cells in real life. Dr. Barbara Valen's work inspired me and present a completely new way to use molecular tools to ensure affordable and sustainable food for future generations. She has been more than a mentor for me. She has been really supportive and really pushing me also hard. Every time she said, "You want to me that I'm picky?" and I say yes, so go for it. And she really helped me to improve in research, but also in my language and in my writing. So she has been really one of the best mentors I have. In these 5 years for hard work for the PhD, my family has been giving me a lot of support and love and patience. Sometimes I'm not able to be with them all the time and share with them some moments. So I really appreciate all the support and the love that they are giving me for this time, and like the motivation to finish and keep doing what I'm doing. I want to thank you to the Network Digital Library of Theses and Dissertations for this award and for supporting and encouraging the universities to develop ETD programs that provide open access to research worldwide. I sincerely thank you and wish you all the best in this worldwide effort to connect limitless science and research.
My apologies to you, the audience, and to Martha. There was a video clip. I'm going to launch the next one a different way because it's not still image. It's a wonderful video. But we did hear Martha's comments, and so I'm glad you were able to appreciate them. Can we just escape out of this back to the PowerPoint, please? I'm sorry, I'm usually much better at it, but it's not my computer, and we're fine. I'm just going to go from here. It's okay. Let me just run it from here. Yeah, I'm ready to go to the next one, so thank you. Okay. So, we have heard about this stuff. Okay, so the next Innovative ETD Award is goes to Wendy Stack. She receives a PhD in Leadership and Change at Antioch University in 2010. In the relationship of parent involvement and student success in Gear Up communities in Chicago, Wendy Stack studied why the education pipeline in the United States is not preparing enough students for success, and high school dropout rates in the nation's urban areas are alarming. Her study assessed Gear Up, gaining early awareness and readiness for undergraduate programs in the Chicago area. Her findings showed a significant relationship between parent involvement and 9th grade GPA and overall student success. So I'm going to skip out of this and go to her video. And just be a little bit clunky, but we'll get there. Where does Stack? Okay. So will this launch media player? Let's cross our fingers and it should work. The play button.
Good afternoon. My name is Wendy Stack. The title of my dissertation is The Relationship of Parent Involvement and Student Success in Gear Up Communities. I was born and grew up in Montreal, Canada, and currently live in Chicago, Illinois. I graduated from McGill, Concordia, and McMaster universities before coming to live and work in the United States. I want to thank the Network Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertations for the honor of winning this International Innovative Electronic Thesis and Dissertation Award. I am truly sorry that I cannot be with you in Cape Town, South Africa to receive it in person and to meet all of you, but I can assure you that I am with you in spirit. While you are holding your conference, the U.S. Secretary of Education is visiting the center that I lead in Chicago at Northeastern Illinois University, where my dissertation work was focused. I will be making the invited presentation about our work. I especially want to thank the Awards Committee and John Hagan for recognizing my dissertation as an innovative and exemplary ETD. I received my doctorate from Antioch University's Leadership and Change program, and I am honored that they nominated my dissertation for this prestigious award. In my doctoral dissertation, I studied why the education pipeline in the United States is not preparing enough students for college, and high school dropout rates in this nation are alarming. This study is important because nationally education is the civil rights movement of our time. I studied the impact of the Gear Up program in Chicago, which stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs, funded by the U.S. Department of Education. My findings demonstrate a significant relationship between parent involvement and student success, a kind of parent involvement that is about leadership and engagement, studied through the lens of social capital. My mixed method study used quantitative and qualitative approaches, and I invited parents and parent leaders to help me make meaning of my quantitative results. These dialogues were conducted in Spanish and English and were videotaped. This innovative digital media tool allowed me to integrate video clips along with the dissertation text to effectively illustrate parents' perspectives and provide meaningful narrative to reveal the complex picture that data alone could not. In essence, the video clips brought my mixed methods dissertation study to life for everyone. I want to thank Antioch and the NDLTD for supporting electronic publishing and open access to research and scholarship in order to enhance the sharing of knowledge worldwide. Writing my dissertation and knowing all along the way that this would be available to all was a very exciting way to think about my dissertation research, not only for others who might want to replicate the program, but also to bring to the forefront parent voices that have helped to shape this program. Writing for a wider audience in hopes that someone would gain some ideas that they might try and also embrace the important role that families play in the life of college-going students. I want to thank Carol Barron, my advisor and dissertation chair, who tirelessly worked with me to complete this dissertation, to John Wergen, Lorian Alexandra, and Elizabeth Holloway from Antioch University, and to Carolyn Kenny, who gently nudged me along the way to use multimedia in my dissertation, as well as Deb Baldwin, the faculty research librarian and electronic thesis dissertation coordinator. I would also like to recognize my family and especially my partner Mary, who supported and inspired me throughout the process. Again, thank you for this great honor. I will always hold it close to my heart and know that it is a great way to celebrate the end of a long and wonderfully rewarding doctoral journey. Thank you.
next winning category. We're going to talk now about the Innovative Learning Through ETDs Award. This year was presented to Ryan D. Kennedy. He received his PhD in psychology from the University of Waterloo in 2010. In his doctoral dissertation, Evaluation of the City of Woodstock's Outdoor Smoking Bylaw, a longitudinal study of smokers and non-smokers, Ryan Kennedy designed his entire PhD project to guide and support development and implementation of outdoor smoking bans. The study focused on a groundbreaking municipal ban on smoking in outdoor spaces in a community in the Ontario, Canada region. It was designed to provide other jurisdictions with the evidence needed to make the case for and to implement such a ban. Now, we have a video clip also from Ryan, so I'm going to let him explain his particular perspective and how multimedia helped him to get his message out. And again, we'll just pop into this other folder. And get Ryan up here.
Hello, I'm Ryan David Kennedy, and I'm sending this electronic message because I unfortunately can't be with all of you in South Africa now. I'm really sorry to be missing the 14th Annual International Symposium on Electronic Thesis and Dissertations, but it's very appropriate that we can send this electronic message in place of being there. I just moved. I moved to Boston with my family, and I think, boys, are you guys playing video games?
No, we're not playing video games, Dad. We're just using our computers to find electronic theses.
Oh, it sounded like you were playing games or watching a video or something.
Dad, some include videos or other multimedia components.
Oh. Well, I for one am really happy that sometimes our thesis, the traditional printed version, is still available because there's lots of good uses that we can do with it.
Boy, the floors are really crooked here. Pass me something I can level up the sofa with.
We could use this 300-page thesis. Yeah. Wow, that's one really big bug. I know, we could use this big thesis. Nice.
Hey, Simone, have you seen my thesis?
Did you submit it online electronically or something?
So the thesis that I worked on was very applied. We evaluated an outdoor smoking bylaw that was passed in a city in southwestern Ontario in Canada. The community is called Woodstock. And Woodstock passed a bylaw that restricted smoking in all sorts of outdoor areas. Parks, rec fields, patios, bus stops, doorways. And the amazing thing is that Woodstock is actually in a community that is very close to where tobacco is grown in Canada. So this is, in some ways, an unlikely place for such a progressive smoke-free policy to have been passed. And it was worth evaluating. And what we found from our comprehensive evaluation pre-post, talking to people that smoked, people that didn't smoke, was that the community really liked the bylaw. And what we found from talking to people that smoked was that the bylaw was actually helping people to cut down on how much they smoked, and it was helping people that quit to stay quit. These are really important findings, and we wanted to share these. And, you know, we just made a series of jokes about how traditional theses are very thick and maybe get used for things that are other than exchanging knowledge. So incorporating multimedia components of the thesis, doing a video where we actually talked to the people in Woodstock that had worked on the bylaw, the people that had written it, enacted it, enforced it, and to give them the voice that I had included in the key informant interviews in my thesis, but to give them the opportunity to share their own stories, their own experiences in the form of a video and incorporate that with the thesis made the knowledge exchange that more salient and that much more relevant to the communities that we were ultimately trying to help. When we do research, when we do a thesis, when we do something to find an answer, we of course want to be able to share it. The video that we made it's been shared all over the world now. We sent it across Canada, the US, the UK, Australia. It's almost taken on a life of its own. It's been posted on the City of Woodstock's website, at the University of Waterloo, at the Patel Center for Population Health Impact, where I work now. We actually posted it on YouTube as well. And I checked just before making this video, and the YouTube site has now had more than 1,000 hits. So more than 1,000 people we know have watched that video. And I know that pales in comparison to some of the YouTube clips, like Charlie Bit My Finger, I think is over 370 million hits. But if we think about a traditional thesis in a library, I would guess there isn't a single one at the University of Waterloo that's been checked out more than 1,000 times. And that doesn't necessarily speak to the research that we did in Woodstock. It speaks to the medium of digital theses and the opportunities that we have to share what we learn and what we find through this medium. And I'm very thankful that the staff at the University of Waterloo that helped us understand how to upload our theses, our traditional written words, also informed us about how we could use multimedia and how we could incorporate that, and encouraged me to do so. I think the work that you're doing in your organization is really helping to accomplish the goal of knowledge exchange. And I applaud you. I thank you very much for this award, and I think I'm going to go have a glass of South African wine. Sorry I can't be there with you, but thank you very much.
Wow, just delightful, huh? Okay, let's get back into the presentation here. Okay, now for the Etd Leadership Award category. Next, we're going to acknowledge Laura Hammonds from the Texas A&M University in the United States. Laura is the director for the thesis office at the Texas A&M University, or TAMU, serving as a graduate student, serving a graduate student population of over 9,000 graduate students. Wow. Laura and her staff are responsible for providing effective guidance to students in the preparation of thesis and dissertation through conducting pre-submittal conferences for each thesis dissertation and reviewing final manuscripts to ensure compliance with TAMU thesis and dissertation requirements. Laura has led efforts in the state of Texas for the Environmental Users Group, which facilitates communications regarding the statewide repository system for a Texas Digital Library Consortium. Additionally, Laura was the founder of the Texas ETD Association, which provides a network of support for ETD professionals in the state of Texas. Most recently, Laura has been an integral and founding member of the United States ETD Association, which provides information on best practices, develops and disseminates information on ETD initiatives, supports the development of statewide ETD associations, and provides networking opportunities to support ETD program faculty and staff throughout the United States. So, guess what? We have another live guest here. Laura Hammonds is here. And Laura, if you would do us the pleasure of coming and acknowledging your and receiving your award, please. Oh, there she is.
All right, I'm going to move this down just a little bit if I can. We've heard some great presentations this afternoon, and I marveled at Tomislav's performance. Thank you so much for sharing that, and it was incredible humor. I think in the video that we saw just previously, I'm afraid I probably can't match either of those, but I am deeply honored to receive this award, but at the same time, I'm also deeply humbled, and I want to share with you this afternoon why I feel so strongly both emotions. I received this award at a time when I was particularly discouraged, and I think, like many of you, I am guilty often of trying to do too many good things. And I enjoy all of those immensely, but it's also complicated to manage all of those good things. In the United States, students are educated in what we call a liberal arts kind of philosophy, and that is that they have to take courses in a variety of different kinds of disciplines so that they have a broad education and therefore can serve society in a broad way and effectively. But there's a saying there with that liberal arts education that that at the earlier levels that students learn a little about a lot, and the higher you progress in higher education, the more you know about less and less. And I feel sometimes that that's the way things are in terms of serving and being involved in different kinds of organizations. It seems like the more you try to do and the more you be involved in more and more, the less you can do in each one of those associations, and the less you have to give. And sometimes that's the struggle that I feel. So that you understand where I'm coming from, right now I'm pursuing a PhD degree in Educational Human Resource Development. This past spring I finished my preliminary exams, and now I am trying to work on the proposal for my dissertation. In addition to that, and as was mentioned already, I have the privilege of supervising and directing the thesis office at Texas A&M University, and we see probably over 1,200 theses or dissertations each year that we have to try to provide support for these students to get through and clear for graduation. And in addition to that, I have the privilege of being the mother of 2 preschool children. I have one who's going to be turning 3 while I'm here at this conference, and another one who'll be turning 5 in October. And they're beautiful children, but they're 2 boys, and they're always very busy. So the reason for this award and my receiving this award is my involvement with the organizations that were mentioned earlier, the Texas ETD Association, the US ETD Association, and the Vireo Users Group. And all of these are really ways for people to come together and to support each other in development, in growth, and understanding best practices, and trying to solve problems collaboratively and improve the practices at their own institutions and together as a whole, the practices and the standards and things that we follow. And so, as I mentioned, that I was a bit discouraged at the time of receiving this awards. I think it's more that it just seems that there's so much more to be done than one person can accomplish, and one person cannot accomplish all of those things. I frequently hope that some way technology will find a way to create more hours in the day, or maybe a way for us to clone ourselves so that we can accomplish more. But unfortunately, with all the advancements we've seen so far, that's not yet one of the ones that has come to pass. But regardless, I think honestly the outcome of my receiving this award really speaks not only, or not so much perhaps to my own individual efforts, but really to the tremendous efforts of the people who work with me. And I want to acknowledge those people. First of all, Texas A&M University, without my supervisors and my colleagues and the staff in my office, I certainly would not have any of the time and the support to be involved in these organizations and developing these organizations. The same can be said of the Texas Digital Library and the people that I work with there, as well as on the Vireo Users Group. My fellow committee members in the Texas ETD Association, my board members on the US ETD Association, and the university libraries. And so I think really, again, it's really a testament to what we've all been able to accomplish when we come together. And so I should say that, you know, I don't feel that I'm any great person that's accomplished anything. I often don't meet my own expectations in what I wish and I hope that I could accomplish, but I do have a desire to connect with other people, to help facilitate the growth of other people as well as myself, and to find and be engaged in work that is meaningful. And the research that I'm actually proposing to work with in my dissertation actually is around this concept of meaningful work. And what makes up meaningful work, and how do employees in higher education experience meaningful work. And just so that you know briefly, some research has been done by Lips, Wiersma, and Morris, as well as Cholofsky, around what does it take for work to be meaningful. And there are 5 different components. One of those is being in community with other people. Another one is being able to grow and develop yourself, making a difference, making an impact on the world, serving other people, and also being able to do that with some kind of work and life balance. And so I think that the efforts that I've been engaged in throughout the past years has been not only for myself to experience this meaningfulness by seeing these in my life, but also hoping to bring that to other people. And so the truth is that although I think we've made a lot of progress in Texas and in the US, there is still much to be done, and there's no way that my efforts alone to accomplish all of that work and to do all of the things that need to be done. And so I say this because I hope that if nothing else, through this opportunity to speak to you, I can encourage you to see this need for involvement. I think we're all busier than we want to be sometimes, but there's a lot of great reward in the work and the efforts that I'm engaged in. NDLTD needs your help. Your country, if you're from Africa or wherever you may be from, needs your help. Your institutions need your involvement, as well as ETD professionals across the world. So I encourage you to join with others to be part of something that's larger than yourselves. 3 years ago, it was 3 years ago that I started working with electronic theses and dissertations. And when I began working there, I would never have imagined that I would be standing here with you today receiving such an award. But again, I don't think it's necessarily because I'm some great person, but I simply saw a need and I took one step forward to try to answer that call and to meet that need. And I think it's something that each and every one of us has the capacity to do. And when we do this together, I think great things can result. Thank you.
Laura, it's my great honor and pleasure to present the Etd Leadership Award. And let's step forward for this. This is the ETD Leadership Award. The certificate is awarded to Laura Hammonds of Texas A&M University. Okay, and last but not least, it's exciting. The other ETD Leadership Award goes this year to Felix Ubugo from the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. Felix is the university librarian at the University of Witwatersrand, Johannesburg, South Africa. He is responsible for the strategic management of the university libraries and the provision of high-level library and information services for all the university students, academic staff, and other employees. For over a decade, Felix's landmark achievements have include having made Rhodes theses and dissertations available on the web, the first library in Africa to do so in 1998, having served as a project manager of UNESCO pilot project to improve management of and access to theses and dissertations prepared at universities in 2 of UNESCO's member states in Africa, Ethiopia and South Africa, in 2003 and 2004. And having served as chair for their advisory committee of the Database of African Theses and Dissertations, or DETAD, pilot project from July 2000 through 2005. Felix's dedication to digital library developments and open access and scholarly communications has put the South African national and African continental ETD programs in many nations on the global map. So it's truly my pleasure, having known Felix since the time I got involved. It's been 15 years now, my friend. And it's just such a pleasure. Please come and acknowledge your award.
Thank you, John. I should also say thank you to the chair, Gail. We've come a long way. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm deeply honored to receive the 2011 NDLTD Leadership Award, and I wish to express my appreciation to the NDLTD, especially the Etd Award Committee, which is chaired by John, for this award. I would also like to say thank you to colleagues who nominated and supported my nomination for the award. Most of them are here, I believe. I would like to put the award in perspective, some of which you've already heard, and what John read out. I conceived the idea of a digital library service in 1996 when I was appointed University Librarian of Rhodes University. That's in Grahamstown. At the Senate Library Committee meeting in August 1996, I asked the committee to approve a proposal entitled March Towards Electronic Library, in which I suggested the implementation of new electronic services, including making theses, past examination papers, and inaugural lectures available online. At that time, it looked a very weird idea. Senate, luckily Rhodes University, I must say, is one of the most innovative universities when it comes to IT in the country, in South Africa. So it was very open to suggestion. Senate at that time agreed that students registered in all faculties be permitted to submit copies of their thesis in electronic form, where possible. You should look at the words, where possible, because it seemed impossible then. Senate was convinced that the electronic submission of theses was on the increase, which is what the case I made. And proponents of that endeavor generally agree that electronic theses will enhance teaching, research, information dissemination, cost reduction to students, researchers, and libraries, just as it's been demonstrated. All those things have really come to pass, which development of electronic theses and dissertations. That concept was entered into a contest in 1997, and it was one of the Blackwell Travel Award winners in 1997. And that award, I must say, enabled me to travel to the US, because the next phase was to now enter into, do some research on ways to make theses and dissertations available electronically. And in the process, I learned that University of Microfilms, then UMI International, had provision for submitting dissertations or master's theses, and that other institutions in the developed and developing countries were increasingly showing interest in electronic theses and dissertations. And most important, Virginia Tech at that time had carried out extensive work on ETDs, and there was copious documentation on their initiative. For those of you who heard me speak yesterday, I said most institutions that started ETD projects in the country started with the ETDDB software, the Virginia Tech software. Because whenever you contacted Virginia Tech, they gladly sent you everything to say, welcome on board, here's the software. And then Rhodes obviously got the software and mounted its first digital thesis on the web, as you've heard. In order to make ETDs produced by tertiary institutions in Southern Africa readily available, I at that time invited universities in Southern African region to join the ETD initiative. I reported that in my popular paper, which John usually terms Spreading the ETD Gospel, a Southern African perspective. During this period, I became involved in two exciting digital thesis initiatives in Africa. The first was the Database of African Thesis and Dissertation, the DATA project, which you've all heard about. Luckily, I was appointed the chair of the advisory committee, I think based on the fact that Rhodes at that time had put the first thesis on the web. One Martha Pletner from the American University in Cairo was the assistant chairperson. I have continued to provide occasional advice to institutions in Africa that want to embark on digital thesis and dissertations projects. I recently facilitated a workshop in Ethiopia, which was sponsored by INASP, to introduce participants to open access and the necessity of institutional repositories for electronic theses and dissertations to assist them in the successful implementation of an ETD program. The workshop was quite recent. It was held in March this year. I'm also glad to have been actively involved in the South African National Electronic Theses and Dissertations Project, which many of you will have heard about again. Today, I can proudly say that all the universities in South Africa have digital thesis and dissertations projects. It is especially gratifying to receive this award, which crowns my efforts in promoting access to thesis and dissertations. I received the award on behalf of all those who have worked and shared my enthusiasm to spread the ETD gospel on the African continent, as well as internationally. Names of those I must thank include Dave Wilson and Dr. Sifuri, then at Rhodes University, Professor Richard Pina and Dr. Doris Swema, and Shah Roberts. Shah is here at Wits University, Professor Hussein Suleiman, Professor Andrew Kaniki, Dr. Daisy Selemetsela, and Henda van den Berg. Henda is here, Daisy is here, you've met them. And also fellow library directors under the umbrella of the Committee of Higher Education Librarians of South Africa for supporting the initiative. Mary Materu Behitsa and Professor Akila Pasoya, then under the auspices of the Association of African Universities, colleagues in Ethiopian universities, especially at Addis Ababa University, Professor Ed Fox, Gay Macmillan, John Hagen, and Axel Plasty of UNESCO, who also provided funds for the UNESCO workshops. I thought I should pay special tribute to Shah Roberts, the manager library systems and digital initiatives at Wits University. I know Shah is here. Shah? Somewhere I can't see, but I know Shah is here. Oh, thank you, Shah. Right, that's Shah. I've singled him out because he has been actively involved in the ETD workshops that have been held in South Africa and Ethiopia, and has continued to provide technical assistance to colleagues developing institutional repositories. Shah, thank you for the contributions you have made over the years. He's quietly admitted it. Most of my colleagues get in touch with him to ask him what to do, how to download the software, etc. I would like to end by saying there are still challenges ahead, as many institutional digital thesis and dissertations projects in Africa are still not visible on the internet, as evidenced on Open Door. I mentioned this yesterday. I invite colleagues in Africa to rise up to the challenge to make African knowledge resources visible and available to the world. Again, you heard that from the keynote speaker yesterday. We still have a challenge to make African research available on the internet. Colleagues, I would say thank you in the African way. Asante, Eshe, Dalono, Iyabonga, Kialeboha, Nkosi.
It's my pleasure to present to you the Etd Leadership Award. The certificate is awarded to Felix Subugo from University of Witwatersrand. Come on up, we'll do a photo back there. Congratulations, Felix.
Okay, I'm going to butt right in here since we're running just a little bit behind. I just want to thank the NDLTD Awards Committee and the organization for picking such a fine group of people to receive the NDLTD Awards. They really are worthy, aren't they?